Rolling over an old 401k, it sounds simple, but if you get it wrong, it could cost you thousands of dollars of taxes and penalties. I've got the traps that you need to avoid when doing a 401k rollover. That and more coming up. "99 times out of 100, most of the time, it's going to make sense for you to roll over an old 401k when you leave that employer into your IRA. Don't leave an old 401k at an old employer. Many people do this, but it is just dangerous. You could easily lose track of these dollars, or they could lose track of you. You move, you get a new email address, they change companies, right? It's easy to lose track of these dollars, and certainly it's easy to lose track of the investment strategy that you're using within that. If that's invested one way, maybe you're investing all of your other dollars a different way and you forget to change that one. What about forgetting to change the beneficiary on this old 401k? It's very dangerous to leave dollars at an old 401k. You're going to want to roll them over. Well, as simple as that sounds, that can be dangerous too. The IRS has very specific rules on how a 401k rollover needs to go. And if you don't follow these rules exactly, you could easily step into some traps and create a lot of tax and penalties and an enormous mess that you want to avoid. To help with that, I'm going to go over 5 of those rules, those traps that I want you to avoid. The first 3 have a very clear solution. It's all the same solution, but it's the 5th one. That's the one that people are more likely, more susceptible to stepping into these days. The first is the 60-day rule. And this is, you've got 60 days to complete that rollover. And that doesn't mean, well, as soon as you leave that employer, you've got 60 days to get the money out and get it back in. No. But once you initiate the rollover, once you get the check, once that money comes out of the old 401k, you've got 60 days to get the money back into the new 401k. Okay. If you, and this isn't like business days, or we skip holidays, or we skip the weekends. No. This is 60 calendar days. And if you happen to do it in 61 days or just outside of this window, then the money is taxable. The rollover is incomplete. It's void. The money is, if it's pre-tax money, it's taxable. And if you're not yet age 59 and a half, it's subject to a early withdrawal penalty. So you need to make sure that you know exactly when that money was distributed and sent to you. You've got to get that money back into the new plan within 60 days. The second rule is the 20% withholding rule. The 20% withholding rule. If you make a withdrawal from a 401k, the rules are that they are required to withhold 20% for taxes. And for example, if you have $100,000 in your old 401k and you say, I want to roll this over here, send me the money. If you have them send the money to you and make the check out to you as opposed to your new IRA, then they are obligated. They are required to withhold 20%. So instead of $100,000, you get a check for $80,000 and Uncle Sam gets 20. So then you think, oh, well, geez, okay, well, that's too bad. I'll put this $80,000 into my IRA. Well, what happens with that $20,000? $20,000 came out of your 401k, didn't land in your IRA. That wasn't a rollover. It's taxable to you. And if you're not yet age 59 and a half, that $20,000 is penalized as well. Where this comes into play is if you're doing a rollover where that money is sent to you first. The check is made payable to you as opposed to your new IRA. And if that's the case, then there's that withholding rule. Again, there's a clear solution to the first 3 of these traps, the first 3 rules. So let me get to the third one, and that is the one rollover per year rule. One rollover per year. Just recently did some content on this in response to a question from a fan of the show about doing 60-day rollovers to help with a down payment for a house. And well, if my existing house doesn't sell within 60 days of me taking money out of my IRA, then I'll do another 60-day rollover out of my Roth IRA, and I can kind of daisy chain those together. No, you can't. You can only do one 60-day rollover. You can only do one rollover per year. And by year, that's not tax year. That's not calendar year. That is 365 days. You can only do one per year. So therefore, if you're cleaning up a couple different accounts, or you're doing another rollover strategy, maybe a withholding strategy, something like that, and you're using a rollover to do it, you can't do it. You are any additional rollover after, within 365 days won't count. It will be treated as a distribution. Now, there's 2 more traps I need to make you aware of, but these first 3, they were a really, really, really big deal when I started my career 20 some years ago, but thankfully, thanks to technology, there's been some enhancements to the rollover process, and you can avoid all three of these big concerns, and they are concerns, but you can avoid all three of them with one simple change. Do a direct rollover. Do a direct transfer. Thanks to technology, and I think the industry and the world waking up to, gosh, these are really three big traps and gotchas that end up catching a lot of people and cause thousands of dollars of taxes and penalties. We've got to make this simpler for the average person, and therefore doing a direct transfer or a direct rollover removes all of these issues. It avoids those three issues because the direct rollover, you go to your old 401k and say, listen, I'm not doing a rollover. Don't send me the money. Send it directly to my IRA. Here's my IRA custodian, the financial institution, Fidelity, Schwab, whatever it is. Here's my account number, my IRA account number. Here's the address that you should send the check to. Cut me out of it. Just send the money directly from the 401k directly to the IRA and cut me out of it. That's considered a direct transfer. And therefore, it's certainly the money never leaves the qualified retirement account world. I know that's sort of jargon, even though it's going from 401k to IRA. I mean, it will happen within 60 days, but the money never came out of the plan, so there's no 60-day requirement. Therefore, the money never came out of the plan. It wasn't the check wasn't written to you. It was written to your IRA or directly transferred to your IRA. So there's no 20% mandatory withholding, and it's technically not a rollover. It's a direct rollover or a direct transfer. So it doesn't count towards your one rollover per year. So the direct transfer or direct rollover solves the first three traps, which are some of the biggest ones that people were concerned about 5, 10, 15 years ago. The fourth rollover trap applies to those of you who are age 73 or older. And this isn't a very common situation, but I've seen it a few times in my career. And this is where someone loves what they're doing. They're staying at their career. Maybe they own the company or were part owner, and they've stayed working past the normal retirement ages into age 73, 74, 75, or maybe you retired from your career and started working part-time or as part of retirement, you worked a little bit and you were eligible for a 401k. Well, then you retire after your required minimum distribution starts, your required beginning date, which right now is age 73. In a few years, it's going to be age 75. If you retire after that and then you say, okay, I'm ready to roll over my 401k, now to my IRA, you've got to withdraw your required minimum distribution first. You've got to take your required minimum distribution out of your 401k before you roll the dollars over to your IRA. It is required. If you just roll the dollars over and say, now I'll do my required minimum distribution later, it's going to be treated as a contribution to your IRA, an excess contribution. That will create an enormous mess. Most companies are aware of this, and when you try and do that rollover, if you're over age 73 and you're past your required beginning date, they're going to say, hold on, hold your horses. We got to take your RMD first, but it's on you. It's your responsibility, so you don't want to step into that trap. But then this last one, this fifth rollover trap, this is the one that's most common these days. I get this question frequently, and that is, I want to roll over my 401k into my Roth IRA. And I get that. That makes a ton of sense, especially I get this question because many people know just what a fan I am of the Roth IRA. And so people say, okay, well, I've got to do something with this money. I want to transfer, I want to roll over my 401k to my Roth. That would be a Roth conversion. That's a taxable event. You can do it. You can. Typically what you want to do is you want to roll over your 401k into the account that matches the taxation. So if you had pre-tax dollars in your 401k, you're going to want to roll over your 401k into a pre-tax or traditional IRA. If after that, you then work with your CFP and say, I want to do a Roth conversion of these dollars, that's great. And then same thing, if you've got Roth dollars within your 401k, you're going to want to roll those over to your Roth IRA. Where it can be a mistake, when people say, I want to roll over my 401k into my Roth, because I hear that's such a good thing, I should be doing that. That's a taxable event. Any pre-tax dollars that are in your 401k, it's taxable when they go into the Roth. You might not be withholding for those. Maybe you shouldn't withhold on those because there'd be a tax and penalty on your withdrawals. And so oftentimes you want to do the rollover as one event and then the conversion as a separate decision. If you're considering doing a 401k rollover, don't do it alone. Work with your certified financial planner. Make sure that they're taking a comprehensive perspective of your financial life. This certainly deals with your retirement plan and your investment strategy. Of course, your tax planning, estate picture as well. Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.